I think there's a lot of old mythology still out there. I think the dot-com bust is still in people's mind, even though that was 1,000 years ago. You know, people still talk about it's all offshored, it's all in India. And, you know, there are some things that are there, but they don't even realize some of the reasons that they went there in the first place is because we weren't making our own. The biggest hurdle in doing any big change is getting the belief systems to change. If people believe something is not for a certain group of people, they will make sure they don't get it. So the biggest challenge was to change the belief systems.
When we started the ECS, that's what we call it, Exploring Computer Science initiative, one of the things we didn't really consider was offering support to students or teachers in the classroom. So for teachers, a lot of teachers, this is a new subject area. And so what we were finding out that was happening occasionally is that some teachers were sort of abandoning some of the core principles in the curriculum.
We are introducing a new core subject. That means most of the people in leadership positions, most of the people that are going to be teaching this subject might have had computer education, but they never had computer science education when they were young. And so it's not something that's burned into their brains like, okay, I know what studying science looks like. I know what studying algebra and then trigonometry and then calculus looks like. This is computers, this is technology, this is something that they probably don't do themselves. So it needs to be integrated into the educational system, into the culture, so that people don't just have it slide under their radar, because it's an enormous missed opportunity.
Okay, so whenever you don't trust this, just click this. That's the view you need to trust. Okay. This view could get kind of buggy, right? Brenda's taken a lot of steps to make this class happen. 5 years ago, she was one of the people that brought me in from industry to start teaching ECS. So it was through her initiative with the STEM schools that started me teaching. And it was her support that got me the PD I needed to teach these classes. So I would say Brenda's been the main reason these classes are what they are in CPS.
We would not be where we are now if it weren't for those few people who were willing. Like for instance, Don's principal was willing to try out with his school. He had the power. And so he made it so all of the freshman class of a particular year got computer science. And there are some rock stars that came out of that very year. But then there were other schools who said, well, we're not Northside, we don't have those types of kids. So then you had to go find another school that was similar to theirs who had a dynamic leader who was willing.
We applied for a National Science Foundation research grant to offer sort of an extension of a one-to-one professional development experience in the classroom, like I said, which is based on peer mentoring and coaching, where it's really about a conversation about building on their strengths.
The next Bill Gates is probably sitting in a classroom somewhere in Chicago with all these ideas, and now we're teaching him how to put those ideas to life.
In Chicago, our goal is to provide entrepreneurs of tomorrow with a rigorous education today. Our vision is computer science for all. This plan will also compete with countries where children take coding classes as early as first grade and create an environment where we can support the next Bill Gates and Marissa Mayer.
I was so excited when we found out that the graduation requirement had passed. It had been a long journey that started for me really in 2009. For Don and those teachers even earlier. We just knew that now we had our chance.
It would be a first in the nation, a public school system that requires students to plan for after high school in order to get their diplomas. Roseanne Tejas has the mayor's plan to make graduation a milestone and not a destination.
The trolls immediately started talking about, oh, you know, they can't even read. How are you going to waste time teaching them computing? Everybody's afraid. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of having to do something in case it might not work. And so it's better to just talk it down.
Well, live at noon, a big education announcement from Mayor de Blasio. He unveiled a 10-year plan today to offer computer science courses to every New York City public school student. CBS 2's Andrea Grimes live in the Bronx with this story at noon. Andrea?
I tell you, when we worked with New York, was the first big district that we worked with. Actually, I worked with New York for a year. Their mayor was going to make the announcement if they were going to do computer science.
I'm proud to announce that we're providing computer science education to every single New York City public school student in the next 10 years.
The two people that I was dealing with got on the phone with me and they said, we wanted to let you know that, because of your helping us, 1.1 million kids will be getting computer science.
So CS4All is going to be a success when it is normal for students to have access to computer science, when it's a normal class, when the kids are like, oh my gosh, I have my computer science homework. It should be part of school.
When the White House did it, that is something that will never leave me.
People acknowledge the fact that she, coined the phrase.
Hi, everybody. As I said in my State of the Union address, we live in a time of extraordinary change. In the new economy, computer science isn't an optional skill, it's a basic skill. So, I've got a plan to help make sure all our kids get an opportunity to learn computer science, especially girls and minorities. It's called Computer Science for All, and it means just what it says, giving every student in America an early start at learning the skills they need to get ahead in the new economy.
Oh, we just howled about it because we just thought it was funny at first because, are you going to go tell Barack Obama he can't use that name?
They had been watching us and that they had patterned a lot of the stuff that they did after our work. There were no words.